Hello and welcome to the next video in the ObservePoint Privacy Compliance Implementation How-Tos. This video will focus on how we can use alerts, one of our standards, to set up notifications and thresholds around privacy compliance. So let's dive in. We're going to go into our France opt-out audit and just see an example of what the end goal is for alerts. We have a report that shows you the results of the most recent run. And when it comes to privacy compliance, there are three alerts, more 5 that we can consider in this instance of how we set this up, but at least 3 that we recommend. And that is an alert for third-party and non-secure cookies found, as these types of cookies have the potential to open up site visitors to man-in-the-middle attacks. So there is a data security risk with those types of cookies. We want to see if there are any that show up. The second recommended alert is unapproved cookies. Do we have any? Now, if you watch the consent categories video, then you should understand that an unapproved cookie means a cookie that was not found within one of our consent categories. The third that is not here, we're actually going to build it, is unapproved tags. So similarly, whether a tag is approved or unapproved is based on if it is found in a consent category that we have applied to this audit. The other 2 alerts that will be a little bit more situational but still highly recommended are based on essential elements on your site and whether they're missing or not. And so you may notice we have the privacy policy missing alert. We covered how to set up a console output based on if the privacy policy or the CMP banner is present or missing. So we can set up alerts around basically saying, hey, if we ever see a page where either of these are missing, let us know. So let's create an alert around that tag, unapproved tags metric. There's a couple ways we can do this. We'll just go through probably the easiest option. Go to the report where that metric lives. We'll go to the tags privacy report. Now with alerts, the metrics at the top of each report usually is where you're going to find your metrics that we can use for alerts. We have one here called unapproved tags. So the secret is if there is a bell icon that shows up if hovering over these boxes with these metrics, that means you can set up an alert around that metric. So we're going to click the bell icon, and it gives us sort of a preliminary setup. We'll give it a name. We can just call it unapproved tags. We'll say who the recipient should be for this alert, and it gives us some default alert logic. We're actually going to keep this as is. But we can move forward to customize alert logic and setup. This is the rest of the interface if we want to further customize this alert. So this will remain unchanged for the purposes of this alert, but you can choose any of the metrics from an audit. If you want to change it, you can do so here. You can also create new alerts and access this interface from the alerts library or your list of alerts in your account. We can also apply filters to add some conditions onto this alert. We can say, hey, I only want to know if we have pages with unapproved tags on the condition that the page is a working page with a working status code. That might not be a great example for this use case, but just to demonstrate the point, there might be times where we need or want to use a filter, such as the third-party and non-secure cookies. That requires the use of a filter. We would set up an alert for the count of cookies, if there are any non-secure cookies, on the condition that the cookies are third-party. And then moving on to the primary setup, we choose an operator greater than any of these. These are threshold operators looking at the most recent run, and then run over run operators comparing the most recent run to the second most recent run. And then we choose a value. So going back to our example that we wanted to build out, which is unapproved tags, if we have a no tolerance policy for unapproved tags, then we would, of course, have the value greater than 0. That is the trigger that we are establishing, saying, let me know if that threshold is ever exceeded. And then we can set up a notification email and also subscribe people to the alert. So if we want to add more recipients, we can add further emails here. We can include a note to ourselves whenever this is going to trigger, just to jog our memory of what the intention of this alert is. So we can write here something like, this alert is intended to notify us when we have unapproved tags, if the name of the alert isn't descriptive enough. We can decide if we want to get notified every time the audit runs and this threshold is exceeded, or just the next time, and then it'll reset if in a subsequent run it doesn't exceed the threshold that we have set in the alert logic. And then the time after that it does trigger, the threshold is exceeded, then you will get an alert. Again, it'll reset and be able to send you an alert. And then data sources is a quick way where we can apply this to other scans. So we can go ahead and do that right now. I can even make this a default alert. I can say, hey, I anticipate adding this to other scans that I create in the future, and I don't want to have to add this each time, so I'm going to check this box. And then the alert preview tells us if we would have had any, if it would have triggered it. This tells us on the 2 previous runs using this dummy data that we had some unapproved tags that we'll want to check out and look at, or that this would have triggered at the very least to inform us of how this is going to behave with our previous historical audit data. So then we can click save, and the next time this scan runs, it will include that alert in the alerts report, and we will be able to get an email. Another thing we can do is we can come to the alerts report, and then we can click on the view report button here where it is signaling that we have a trigger. It'll take us to the report that has that metric. So in this case, it's unapproved cookies, and it's saying it's going to highlight the box as well that metric belongs to. And so we can get a quick answer to what happened. That is everything that we have to cover on the alerts report. Good luck creating your first alert, and we will see you in the next video.